And it looks like we are now live. Welcome back to another Tea Time with Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann Porter, Life Coach TA. Today's episode of Tea Time, before I get started, got my teacup. My cup today is filled with, with green strawberry tea. I have no idea where I got it. A friend brought over a bunch of teas one day, said, I think you might like one of these. I love this. It's a loose tea. I steep it for a few minutes, and it is delicious. Okay, I do add a little bit of sugar because, come on, my sweet personality does not come natural. I have my crown on today. I was recently in Las Vegas. They were doing a Princess Diana exhibit. I got my Princess Diana tiara. I am now officially Princess Terry Ann. And today I want to introduce you to a wonderful woman I've recently met. And let me tell you, we connected immediately when I saw what she does. We're going to try to make these things work right today. And none of my technology is working right today, so stick with me. Alise Kabakoff. She is the owner and creative director of Knit Me, Sew Me, a 100% made in the USA handcrafted business. Alise has been knitting, crocheting, and sewing since she was 13. Her mom taught her how to knit and crochet, and then she learned how to sew in grade school. After creating tons of designer sweaters for herself and her husband, her mom suggested she start a business. Now, first up were things for babies, such as baby blankets, baby bottles, stuffed animals, and bean bags. Next came a full line of accessories, including scarves, hats, head wraps, fingerless gloves. Lastly, a line of home goods were added, which included cup, mug, and bowl cozies, dishcloths, scrubbies, Swifter covers, cast iron skillet covers, and lavender sachet bags. This woman is phenomenal. After working in retail throughout her life, she's brought personal customer service to the forefront of Knit Me, Sew Me. Her ultimate goal is to bring back handmade items and bring them back into the marketplace. Please help me give a tea time welcome to Alise Kabakoff. Alise, welcome. I am so excited you are here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I tell you, as soon as I saw it when we first met in networking, virtual networking, and I saw the name of your thing, I thought, I like this woman. I know I like this woman. And I've seen pictures of your work, and it is amazing. But there's one particular work I've got to ask you about before we even get started. One of the first things I saw about you was pictures of a duck. Tell me about this duck.
Well, this is Lucky Ducky. He comes in 3 different colors. And one day last year, I was networking, and I was telling the person I was with in that session, I was going to Europe with my sister for a cruise. And she said to me, do you have any of your products that you could take with on the trip that you could photograph wherever you go? And I thought, oh my God, I can take one of the ducks. Kind of like a Flat Stanley sort of thing, but it's the Knit Me, Sew Me version of Flat Stanley. So I took one of these, and he was the hit of the trip. Everywhere my sister and I went, everybody wanted a picture with the duck, from the flight attendants to the hotel desk clerk to the tour guides to people on the ship, our drivers. Everywhere we took the duck, everybody wanted pictures. So when we got back, my social media gal, Kim, put together 19 videos of the trip. They're like 30 seconds each. They're on the YouTube channel. And the playlist is called Lucky Ducky Goes to Europe. And they're only like 30 seconds each. They're hysterically funny. So then what I decided to do is, last year during the fall boutique season, winter boutique season, I basically had a contest that anybody who spent more than $50 at an in-person boutique or online, their name went into the basket to win the duck. So it was the actual duck that I took with me to Europe. So there were lots of names. It was lots of fun. Now, I have to preface this by saying I did not pick the winner. My husband, Joel, picked the winner. So I mixed up the basket. I put it way over my head. And Joel picked the winner. And it turned out the winner was a gal named Debbie, she and her husband, Jack, Joel and Sharon and I met on the cruise. And there's some pictures in some of the earlier videos with Debbie, Jack, Sharon, and me. And I was like, I couldn't believe it because I know somebody was going to think, oh, this was rigged, but I didn't pick the winner. And so she took him to Europe this past April to all sorts of really great Eastern European countries. And right now there's another playlist on the YouTube channel called Lucky Ducky Goes to Europe Again. And there's going to be another video dropping tomorrow. There's 6 videos altogether. So I am going to New York in a couple of weeks with my sister. And we're going to the US Open Tennis and we're taking Ducky. So Ducky is going to be going all over New York. And so look for another playlist of Lucky Ducky Takes New York coming after we get back.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, and people have been purchasing ducks and they've been taking them all over the place. And I'm starting to get photos and I'm hoping anybody who buys a duck that they'll take it on a trip and send photos or a video because they're, I want to put them on the YouTube channel, Adventures in Lucky Ducky Land. And so that's how the duck came to be. I mean, it was just one of those things that just took off and, I'm just running with it.
Oh, how fun. I love that. It made me think, we just got back from Vegas and I thought, after I remembered your name, I thought, why didn't I take my bear with me?
Or a duck.
Oh, a duck. I don't have a duck. When I knit crochet, for me, it's bears.
Excellent.
Why didn't I take mine? I didn't think about that.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just kind of like a really fun way for people to see where I've been going.
Sure.
I mean, last year was the first time I traveled since 2016. So, and then a year from August, from this month, my sister and I are going on another cruise, and we're gonna go to Norway and a whole bunch of places that we didn't go last summer. And yes, I will be taking a duck, and yes, I will be crocheting him some scarves because it's Norway, and maybe a couple of hats to wear while we're there. So look for that too. It's going to be lots of fun.
Oh, how exciting. Well, I do have your YouTube channel up there. Be sure to check out her YouTube channel. You've got to see these pictures and these videos. This is just, you do amazing work.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due, and that is to my social media gal, Kim, who, she didn't know much about videos before this happened. I said, well, let's do videos. And she figured out how to do it. And they are spectacular, if I say so myself.
Nice. Yes, you do. There's great stuff on there. Got to check that out. Now, I'll tell you, I have a problem when I sit down to knit or crochet or anything like that. I can get so lost in it that nothing else gets done. How do you manage your time and everything so that one doesn't just take over?
It's difficult. I can honestly say that when I started Knit Me Sew Me, it was a hobby that always wanted to be a business. So I was working full time. I was knitting and crocheting on the train back and forth to work. And I was doing boutiques on the weekends and things like that. And then in November of 2020, I got laid off during COVID. And at that particular point in time, I had already been working for other people for over 50 years. My husband and I sat down and we looked at where we were financially. He said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do Knit Me Sew Me full time to see what I can do with this. And he goes, okay. So that day it became a business that used to be a hobby. So I thought, okay, this is great. I got a website. The shopping cart got done last summer after I got back from Europe, so people can order online. And I figured, okay, I'm doing some networking, and I'll do my in-person boutiques, and that's all I need to do. Well, no. I can honestly say that this is probably the hardest job I've ever done and made the least amount of money. but it's my passion. So there's a trade-off there. But what I found is it can consume you if you don't set up some guardrails. And for me, it was getting Kim to help me with the social media. I write all the posts. I do all the content, and she does posting for me. And then I do a few posts on my own. I post on my blog and on Blogger. So that's getting done. And then I actually found a gal in Michigan who knits for me. And she helps me make some of the fingerless gloves. She submitted a knitting sample before I hired her, and her knitting was just as beautiful as mine. And we've been together now over a year, and I don't know what I would do without Alise at this point. Because, during the day, I'm networking, I'm doing Zoom calls, I'm working on the website, I'm working on the shopping cart, I'm working on Google and SEO, and there's all sorts of things that I never imagined that I would have to do being a business owner, but I'm a solopreneur, so it makes it even more difficult trying to juggle everything. So basically, during the day is when I concentrate on all my admin, content, networking things. And then at night is when I actually sit down and have uninterrupted time to just make things. So for me, I don't consider that work. Someone disagreed with me, but it's my passion. So I don't consider, keeping my hands busy, work. And so, but I have set up a few guardrails for myself. At night, by 10 o'clock, my phone is on airplane mode. I don't want to hear the dings, bings, buzzes. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to be able to get a good night's sleep. So airplane mode is on until I wake up the next morning. And on Sundays, I do not turn on the laptop unless it's absolutely necessary. So that's my one day where, I'm doing laundry, I'm doing stuff around the house, and I don't want to be bothered on my laptop, and I give the laptop a day of rest. And I also realized, I can't do everything in one day. It's difficult not to be hard on yourself, but when you're you can't keep beating yourself up if you don't get everything done. You have to revel in what you have gotten done and say, it was a very productive day, and leave it at that. Because we all can't do everything at once, and everybody has 24 hours. That's it. I mean, if I could clone me a couple of times, I do have an identical twin, but if I could clone myself a few times and have like 36 hours in the day, I'd be doing a happy dance. But, that's just not the way life is.
Oh, I understand. I love the boundaries that you've set up for yourself and are able to maintain. I know I do that. My phone automatically at 10 p.m. It's do not disturb, and it stays on until 8 the next morning. Those things don't come through.
Exactly. I mean, we all need to get a good night's sleep. We need to recharge our bodies, recharge our minds. And I don't know about you, but if my phone is beeping all night long, that's not going to happen.
Right. I will throw a little thing in here, though, for people who are afraid to use that. My kids are grown, yes, I know, but still, there's that mother in me who says, but what if they need to reach me? It is possible, even on Do Not Disturb, by the way, to set specific names that their calls can come through. If something happens at 2 a.m. and my daughters need me, their calls will come through. So those of you who are afraid to use it, let me tell you, you can still get that emergency call. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Let's take this to the next step now. I know that you said that you were in retail for many years, and I know that customer service is vitally important in even this type of a home-based kind of a thing. Tell me about that. Why? What about it?
I was raised old school retail. My first job, I got at a ladies' wear store, and we would always be asking, people would come in, we'd say hello. And I did that one summer. And then one of my friends was working at a upscale ladies' wear store, and she said they need somebody to help with the day after Christmas sale and the day after that. Because back in the dark ages when I was growing up, nobody put anything on sale in the stores until the day after Christmas, and everything was 50% off. No store put Christmas stuff out until after Thanksgiving. So you actually had, Christmas stuff was out for a month.
Right.
And so they hired me for 2 days, and I actually worked there for 3.5 years. And what I learned is that when people come into a store, you don't say, may I help you? You just say, I would always say, hi, my name is Alise. I'm here if you need anything, and please let me know. And then you let them go do their thing. And then as they start grabbing clothing and their arms are looking a little heavy, I would walk up and say, would it be okay if I started a fitting room for you? So I would take everything into the fitting room. And then when the customer was ready, she would go in there. And then every 5-10 minutes, I would knock on the door and say, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Do you need a different size, a different color? And then I would basically shuttle clothes back and forth. Okay. So she would get that personal customer service experience. And even after I left retail with my mother and my mother-in-law, I would do the same things with them. So when we were in New York visiting my mother-in-law, when she was still alive, she said, I want to go shopping. And I said, okay, let's go shopping. So I walked right up to the cashier and I said, I'm going to be helping my mother-in-law and I'm going to be bringing things in and out. And I said, and when we're done, we'll bring you everything we want to purchase. Okay. So the gal kind of looked at me kind of flabbergasted, and I just was running back and forth with helping my mother-in-law try things on because she was, a little older. Mm-hmm. Same thing with my mother. She wants to go shopping. Okay. I'm your personal shopper.
Oh, nice.
And so what I've done is I have transitioned that into Knit Me, Sew Me, because now when you go into a department store, you'll be lucky if you find anybody who can help you. And unless you're at the personal shopper section, if they even have those anymore, I don't know. But, I can't tell you how many times I've tried things on and I've literally grabbed my purse and gone out in the clothes from the store to find a different color or a different size because there's nobody there to help. And so I think that's unacceptable. And I think, people are used to that, but I want them to get used to something else, something better. So when you come to a boutique where I am, you will get hands-on personal customer service. I'll tell you everything about everything in the booth. I have mirrors. You can try anything on that you want. And one thing I learned from working retail is you never, ever, ever tell somebody that something looks good on them when you know it doesn't, because 100% of the time they will return it. So instead of saying, oh, that looks really bad on you, I'll say, you know what? I have another style that I think might look better and maybe a different color sort of thing.
Oh, good.
And that's the way I help my customers. So if somebody orders online, they have a question, my phone number is there, my email is there. People pick up the phone, they call me if they have a question, and I answer the question, because I want everybody who shops with Knit Me, Sew Me to have that personal customer service experience. And maybe if enough people do it, they might expect it other places and things might change a bit. But I'm not one of these people where you walk up to my booth and I'm behind my table and I'm just reading. That doesn't fly with me.
Oh, I can definitely see that. It's just from the bits I've seen of you, that customer service, just even our conversations, comes through so well.
Thank you.
Do you ever get overwhelmed with all of this going on? I mean, here you are working this, you've got a husband, you've got to maintain your house, you've got these boutiques. That can be a lot. Do you ever get overwhelmed?
Yes. Not as much as I used to. The last big meltdown I had was in December when I was looking for something in my kitchen and I couldn't find it and I started throwing stuff on the floor.
Oh, good to know I'm not the only one.
My husband was like, what the heck's wrong with you? And I actually just sat down and started crying. And I thought, you know what? That's part of not being too hard on yourself. It's really important because I have a calendar. It's all in pencil. it's just a regular paper calendar. I'm old school. And if things don't get done, I move them to the next day. But if things are like piling up on me, I'm like, you know what? I got to go outside for a little bit. I got to take a walk. I got to make something to drink, like some tea or, flavored water or something, just to get away from it for a second, because luckily for me, I have two people who help me. So that makes a big difference. But yeah, even with the two people helping me, sometimes I feel like I'm just overwhelmed. But that's part of being in business. I mean, it's not gonna always run smoothly. It's not going to be peaches and cream, and you have to, know that there will be times when, you have a really crappy day, and it's like, you know what? Today's a crappy day. Tomorrow's going to be better, and look at it that way instead of like, oh my God, this day was crappy. Tomorrow's going to be crappy. And it's like, no.
Right.
No. Once your head hits the pillow, it's a reset.
Oh, I like that. When your head hits the pillow, it's a reset. Did you find it hard in the beginning to start to ask for help? I know for me that becomes very hard sometimes, and I hate to be this age before I finally realize it's okay to ask for help.
Yes. And actually, the two people who helped me, I got through referrals on the Alignable networking
Oh, really?
platform. So somebody recommended Kim, and then somebody recommended Alisa. But what I've also found about Alignable is I have found a lot of, there's one of the groups is called the Women Business Owners Group. And I have made so many phenomenal friends from this group. I can call Natalie, I can call Karen. There's a whole list of people I can call and just say, or I could call my sister too and say, gosh, golly, and gee whiz, this day's in the dumpster. And so, but I've also met service people. Like there's this one guy named Rob. He has been so helpful to me with SEO and Google. So I took two of his networking events that were only supposed to be an hour. Each one of them turned into 2 hours. And he didn't talk in techie speak. He talked in actual English. And he's also done 3 one-to-ones with me. And we just did one on Monday because I had some questions about Google. He doesn't charge me a dime. He even said to me, he said, I can't believe how much you're doing. You're doing phenomenal. But there's some things that need to be, tweaked. And he helps me with that. Anytime I have a problem, I message him. I said, it's your favorite student. Do you have time to help me? And there's people like that who are willing to go the extra mile without charging you an arm and a leg. And that's another thing I found on Alignable, some of the other platforms. There are people out there who just want to sell you something.
Right.
Okay? And I'm a really small business, and my 2 favorite words are free and sale. So, if somebody comes at me and they want to do my marketing and they want to charge me a bunch of money every month, no. So I think I've managed to do okay with Kim taking care of what she takes care of. We work really well together. She's funny. We just have a great relationship. And that's how, you find help from where, other sources. So there's all sorts of people you can call, for at least I can call and say, I just need to vent for a few minutes. I'm having one of those days. And I might call you. You never know.
Everyone needs that. They need that one person they can call and say, my daughter's really good at this. She's the one who taught me this. She'll call and she'll say, Mom, I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you to tell me what to do. I just want you to let me vent. Just listen. Hey, I can do that now that I know what the terms are. No problem. Talk on, my dear. And sometimes everyone needs that. Someone they can just call and say, just let me get it out.
Exactly.
Once it's out, it's not holding you back anymore. Isn't it amazing how it can do that?
Exactly. But this is very challenging. I will say that it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, other than packing up my life from Phoenix and moving to California within 2 weeks back when I did it. But it's hard. But when I see people enjoy the products, like you showed some of the pictures, people send me photos, the custom baby blankets, to see the babies with the blankets, to see people wearing the headbands and the head wraps and the gloves and the ducky and all sorts of things like that. It just makes my heart soar to know that, that I made something that they really appreciate. And another thing about handmade is that you're getting my expertise in what I do, and my products are made to last. So it's not going to be where you buy something and it falls apart. I mean, I'm still wearing scarves that I made more than 20 years ago, and they look brand new. So that's one of the other advantages of handmade, is the fact that you're getting something that's really, really well crafted and is made to last, rather than something that came over on a boat that who knows who made it.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you do when people say to you, well, I can go over to such and such and get it for much less than that?
I actually had that happen to me once. I make these really beautiful crocheted bunnies for Easter, and I was selling them at the time for $20. They had like 9-10 pieces to each bunny. So it was the body, the legs, the arms, the cheeks, the ears, the tail. So, I mean, it was a lot putting it together.
Sure.
And she looked at the price tag and she said, I can, this is too expensive. And I said, you know what? I said, this is hours of my work. I counted all the pieces. I said, everything is handmade and hand stitched and crocheted, because it was a crocheted bunny. I said to her, I said, please don't take this the wrong way. I said, but if you want a $5 bunny, go to Walmart.
I love your attitude.
I mean, but and I said to her, but when it falls apart after one season, then you come back and see me, and I will hook you up with a handmade bunny that will last longer than one Easter.
I love your attitude.
I mean, and that's the part, people say, oh, handmade is expensive. Well, it might be when you buy it, but I mean, like I said, I'm wearing scarves that are 22, 23 years old. And if you can buy a scarf and maybe pay $50 or $60 for a handmade scarf, and it's going to last you 20 something years, that's like $3 a year for the scarf. Whereas if you buy some of these other very less expensive alternatives, if you get a season out of them, you might be lucky.
Absolutely. Oh, I tell you what, I really admire you. I love your work. It is just beautiful. People want to reach you. We have your website. Be sure to check out her website. There's a lot of stuff on there. knitmesewme.com. And from there, you can find all of her social media links. She is all over social media, as are the pictures and reviews of her amazing work. Any final words, Alise?
All I can say is I adore you, and I am so honored to have met you. And I really appreciate you allowing me to come and talk about Knit Me, Sew Me, and handmade.
Oh, I am, excuse me, I am blessed and honored you are here to have met you. Please reach out, look at her website, watch her beautiful work, go to YouTube and see where Ducky is today. And until next time, remember to sit back, relax, have a sip of tea, and maybe do a little bit of knit and crochet. Until the next tea time, I hope that your week and your day is terrific.